Jonasie and Vanessa.
How are you?
Hopefully you can hear us. Good evening. Sticking our
If you cannot hear us, please let us know.
Please let us know.
We had a bump in the road
We did a whole 45 minutes. And
and no one could hear us and no one said anything.
so please let Hello. Dee joined. Thank you for joining our live. As we said, if you can't hear us, let us know. Um, we've had some hiccups. So I think we're on chapter 2 of our book, and we're going to be talking about budgeting tonight.
And so we have the book, It's Never Too Late, Smart Money Moves for a Secure Future. And basically, it's just to assist people, giving them ideas and different ways that you can save for either for your future, for a trip, whatever it's that you're looking for. Both of us, we are financial, I'm not going to say experts, but we do work in the finance field as well as, saying nobody, I don't know why I said it. We both work in the finance field and we're also both caregivers in the evening for family members. Um, she caregives for her mother, I caregive for my father. I mean, not my father, for my husband. So eventually, we actually will be discussing some caregiver stuff as in regards to being able to take care of yourself while you're taking care of somebody else, because it's a lot of work. It's different when you work in that field, but it's different when you're doing it for a family member. So that's something that we'll tap into later on. But tonight we are focusing on finances and how can we make some decisions to increase our funding with today's economy, the job market, uh, the way things are going right now. It's hit or miss with some people with employment. Um, you we don't we just don't know at this time how the job market is going. We are federal employees, so we completely understand that aspect of it, as well as we're in our 50s or early 50s. She's about to turn 50. I'm 52, and having to take care of other older family members that were not prepared kind of made me start taking a second look at how I'm spending my money and the things I need to do to just make sure that I could take care of myself when that time comes that I want to retire. And I'm just going to be honest, I really don't want to work until I'm 65 or 70. I want to, decide to retire when I'm ready to, be able to enjoy my grandkids, enjoy my
Thank
life,
you for
and do
sharing.
some other things, you know. And we appreciate you all getting on this live with us. Um, we've had some hiccups, but we definitely will try to make it through this one.
So budgeting, it has a bad connotation. Nobody wants to talk about budgeting. You think that it's prohibiting yourself. And it's not about limiting yourself. Not at all. Don't think of it in that way. It's about making thoughtful decisions on where you spend your money. It's not that you can't have. All we're saying is plan for it. So it's not a no. It could be move it down the line or later on in the schedule. But it's about making sure you understand where each dollar is aligned. So you have to, and while we're talking about budget, we have linked our website into in the comments there. Make sure you like, follow, and share. But we offer a simple budget to help in these chapters of the book where we're trying to account for every penny. One of the problems with budgeting is a lot of people don't know where their money goes. Monthly bills and monthly uh, bills that come in, auto payments, those are things that you know about. But what do you actually spend your money on? A lot of the time, you're spending the money on food, eating out, the coffee runs, and you have no idea how much you've spent on that stuff. And it's usually a big chunk of your money. You're looking up at the end of the week or in the 2 weeks and like, where did my money go? And although we know we spend it because we're constantly swiping the card, you don't recognize just how much of a chunk that is. And so one of our challenges we just got done with, we had that we did 2 weeks and we took out cash and we actually had to count out money and spend, and we couldn't swipe the card at all. And it was like a little bit difficult. It was very challenging. I didn't realize, like, I one week I'd taken out like $75. That didn't know I had like 3 days left. I had no money. So once I got gas and I take my lunch, so I wasn't spending it on food. So it was really hard to juggle how much I actually spend through the week. The next week was a little bit better. I took out a little bit more cash, but I don't know if that was the answer. Should I be taking out more cash, or should I be adjusting, and pulling back versus just, feeding that, okay, I'm buying, so I want to have enough. No, you should be taking accountability of actually what you're spending. So I think we talked in our last um in our book, going into the percentages and the 50, 30, and
Yes.
20%.
So when you're budgeting your money, one of the things you should look at, try using the 50/30/20 method. And basically, what that is 50% should be going towards your needs, your rent, car note, the things that you need for your livelihood. The 30% is your wants. And you put money aside for that, your entertainment, if you're going out to eat, whatever the case may be. However, just because you're putting that money up does not mean use it right then, because that might be your wants for a trip that you're going on in maybe a month or two. So you're still putting that 30% want up. You're just not using it right away. And that's something we got to get in the habit of. When we see that we have extra money, we're ready to spend it. And then the 20% is your savings. Put your savings up, and that's money for emergencies. Did something happen to my car? Do I need to leave town on emergency for a family member? Anything that you may need that comes up last minute, you put that savings up, and that's, you're trying to save that, whether it's for your retirement or whether it's just for when you need it. One of the things I had discussed with Portia is I do have my savings account, which linked to my savings is linked to my Lord have mercy. What am I thinking of? My savings account and my checking account. So automatically, I have money coming out of my savings going into my checking. I mean, out of my checking into my savings. But I also, when I get paid, I go to the ATM. I get $100. I went to the dollar and quarter store, got a pack of envelopes, and I purchased a safe off of Amazon. So every pay period, I put $50 to $100 in an envelope, and I put it in my safe, and I just leave it. It's something I don't really use, honestly. I do swipe my card. We did do the cash challenge, but usually I do use my card. So that cash that's in the safe, I really don't look at it, especially too, because that's where I keep my important, like, birth certificates, shop records, social security cards. So it's not somewhere I go into. And I just let it kind of grow. Once it gets to a certain amount, I usually like to wait until it's like 1,000, 1,200. Then I go to the bank and I get a cashier's check in my name, and then I put it back in there. That takes away the desire to go in there and use the cash, because now I got to go cash it.
And she doesn't count it. I would go in and periodically, if I could do that, and go see. But I think the key is not counting it. She doesn't want to know
Right.
what's in there.
And so it's just a way to another way to have savings on hand. Now, Portia also saves,
Yes.
but she does hers in a different way.
Yeah. I actually have a high yield savings account, and I send money from my check there. It's not, and it's a separate bank. I don't, if it was attached to my checking, I do have a savings attached to my checking with small amounts of money for like overdrafts or whatever. But for my high yield, I try to stay out of there. And it was very intentional for me to have it at a different bank, because I'm one, if I see it and I know it's there, I will almost have reasons to go spend it. So it's in another place for a reason, and that works for me. However, I may adopt some of that, because right now is different times. We don't know what things are looking at. People are having access to things they shouldn't have access to. So it might not be a bad idea to have a small safe, fire retardant safe, and putting some cash in there, however you deem, is needed just for safekeeping, because we just don't know. Again, it's just the times that we're living in. So,
Yeah, and this is just definitely about being prepared. You want to make sure you're looking out for yourself. You have to take care of you. Whether you're married, you have a partner, whatever the case may be, you're gonna have at the end of the day, you have to take care of you. And I look at the fact too, like I have two boys. Yeah, when I get older, I would love for them to assist me and take care of me and so forth. But if that's not possible, I want to make sure I have the funding to either put myself in a senior home or, you know, maybe still live in my own home. Whether I need to make the decisions. Do I need to downsize? Am I going to be okay and be able to save what I need to maintain the lifestyle that I have? Those are all things that I need to take into context to determine whether or not that's possible for me. If you have some ways that you save and that you've came up with that helped you, please put them in the chat. So, sometimes we think everybody already knows everything and they truly don't. We are all learning as we go. And so because we're in finance, we have just came up with some strategies on things to use. But as well, like she said, right now, the times, the market, uh, the the job market, everything that's going on is just right now kind of like the roll of the dice. You don't know what tomorrow may bring. You're hearing different things on the news every single day. So that really made us make the decision of, okay, I'm gonna be more conscious and intentional on what I'm doing to grow my funds and make sure that I have what I need if anything happened. If they say tomorrow, okay, this is it, thank you for your service, I have to have a strategy and a plan in place.
and it's not just for temporary employees or people that have just walked in the door. Some people have been let go of 15 and 16 and 20 years under their belt, and not only government either. It's other companies, because things are changing and the environment, with the tariffs and all, companies are being affected very much so. So it's not a normal thing that that's going on right now. So also, with the savings, another reason to save we have in our book, or then one of the sections, is establishing an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses for whatever that looks like. If you maybe you have a job, but maybe you need a roof, you know big circumstances or unexpected items that come up like that should be put away. I mean, yes, that is the disruption of your financial goals, but it won't devastate you. At least it won't devastate you. And that's good. That's a good feeling, knowing that, okay, maybe I have to, restart with my savings, but this didn't tear me up. And so I've been in the position where, that one thing has set me back so far, because I wasn't preparing for unexpected. I wasn't preparing for, just living situations to change. And that's a big part of savings, is just being prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah, and like we said, it's just about being intentional with your money. Also in the book, the first chapter, we ask people to get real with yourself, with your spending. Something we had to do and look at, and what we do is we ask people to look at the last 30 days of your spending habits, whether it's your debit card, your credit card, you Apple Pay, any method of payments that you have made. Pull all that out. Bring your bank
It
account
matters.
statement up.
Mhm.
Look at all that. You'll start seeing um,
Repetition.
of habits.
Yeah.
And one of the things for me, I'm not a coffee drinker. However, our building is so cold that I have found myself stopping to get coffee in the morning. That's $2 and I think $2.14 or something.
They love G. Thanks for joining.
Hey, um, I'm stopping and doing that when I have a Keurig at my house. So not only am I doing that, now I didn't picked up those little breakfast biscuits to go with it, So before I know it, I didn't gave them $7 to $10 on, and I never finished the coffee. So that's another thing. And I didn't realize how often I was stopping to go get it, but I know that's one of the habits I need to stop. As well as when I grocery shop, don't grocery shop when you're hungry. I go in the grocery store. If I'm hungry, I'm picking up stuff that I have no need to pick up. Um, I'm saying I'm gonna eat it when I get home, but when I get home, I realize I didn't got sushi, fish patties, and some chips. And these are all things while I'm grocery shopping that I said I'm gonna go ahead and eat that when I get home, and don't even realize it because it's not on my grocery list. I'm just as I see it, I'm like, oh, we don't have this. Oh, you know what? This sounds good. And you want to make sure you're picking up things that you should be using. And one thing I did the last time I usually go to the store and grocery shop. However, Portia grocery shops online and then goes and picks up her groceries.
Right.
I tried that. It it
Thanks
helped
for
a
the
lot
love and the heart.
because I basically didn't spend overspend what I was supposed to be spending. You know, sometimes I like to say, okay, this is the amount I'm going to spend when I go to the grocery store, but because I'm picking up additional things, that $150 to $175 has turned in to 250,
Easy.
and I'm trying to figure out what did I pick up. But when I made my grocery list, picked out my groceries online, scheduled a time to pick them up, once you clicked on what you need, you done. You're not going up and down the aisles seeing extra stuff that you really don't need, and you're picking up anyways. So that really helped. And I'm actually going to do it again this month. When it's time to grocery shop my household, let me know what you need. I'm going to put it on the grocery list. I'm going to get on my laptop and I'm going to go ahead and order my groceries because it really did
Save
help
some
me
money.
save. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you one of the things that I noticed when I was reviewing my credit cards and debit card statements. I was paying Canva from two different places. I had two different accounts, was not aware of it. I paid $30 on one credit card and I paid another 14 something on my debit card. Had no idea until I take a look and saw that those two things are coming out. So it's very easy when you got money coming out for different things in different situations. It's really easy. And that really puts a focus on, just your money, just what's coming out. So, and that's easy to do with Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff too. I was paying Hulu for a minute and it's like, I haven't seen Hulu in a long time. Well, who paying? Why are we still paying this? So, because I don't watch it. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
really take accountability. Makes you take a hard look on just where your money is going.
Right. And be careful too, because it seems like nowadays when you see things online and you're like, oh, this sounds like something I want to try, and you decide to go ahead and pick it up and try it, and you order it online and stuff, you don't realize it's a subscription until several months later you didn't look at your bank account. Or for
Right.
instance, for me, I ordered something that I wanted to try, like a mushroom coffee, and then the following month I seen it on my bank account, and I went and looked. It's a subscription, and I wanted to cancel it. I asked them to cancel, and they said okay, but I would have to wait. They had already charged me the $34.99, so I would have to wait to
Welcome, glass cuts.
I would have to wait to cancel. But my thing is, like I told him, he was like, "Well, I would hope you like the product that you want to stay getting it." But the thing is, I'm not really a coffee drinker. So that 30-day supply is going to last me about 60 to 90 days. I don't need to get that every single month and give me the option to determine that that is what I want to do. I actually, well, oh, I like this. Let me buy it the next month. Let me make the choice to buy it the following month. I don't want you to subscribe me unless I say I want a subscription.
Thank you for sharing the
Go
love.
ahead and send it to me every month.
Yeah.
So that's something
They're
too
getting
you
more
got to look at.
clever with getting your money. And Klarna, where we have Klarna, Afterpays, and all these other things that you are timing out your money to pay things in the future, you've long spent, used whatever that was, or ate it up. They're even doing it for food and
Yeah.
so those are not good. It's good in the moment if you feel like you want to pay for something, but that's one of those things. It's not good to have those future things deducting from your account when you've already used it. It's a past expense. You don't want to pay for something in the future that you no longer are, utilizing. So, try to stay away from those, or not they're not a good practice. So,
Can you show us? Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read a question. Can you show us an
Thank you
example
for
of
giving us a
recurring
question.
income and how to use that with your financial planner?
Oh, maybe that's a good one for next time. We can
Okay.
do a demo.
Yeah, we'll definitely, because we do have a
How to
budget
how to
spreadsheet.
save? Yeah.
Yeah, we have a budget spreadsheet
Hmm.
on our website, and that way you can go in and look and see the bills that you have. One thing that we do have to take a look at is when we're saving, just because we save, that don't mean go spend it. That don't mean go upgrade your car. That don't mean, take the time to, one thing,
Pull back.
yeah, my grandmother used to say, when you make a rush decision, take a moment, think about it for a couple of months, and then go ahead and make that decision. And once you know that's really what you want. Sometimes we make rush decisions, and then, for instance, a car note, then you're locked into that payment for 5, 6, 7 years. And then you like, I'm committed to giving these people this money every single month.
Yeah.
And if car
And
notes
you
are not, they're not small no
no,
more.
and you don't live out the time. Like you will pay it off, and then you immediately want another car. I met a friend of mine who kept her car 10 years. And I couldn't, it was like inconceivable when she told me. I'm like, 10 years? Like, I could keep my car 10 years, but now I'm of the age. I'm going to keep my car to the wheels fall off because that's how you're getting your money back. Cars depreciate the minute you drive them off the lot. So they're not no longer worth it. You might as well get the money out of it that you put in. And that's holding on to it just a little bit longer than you would have normally. Because if you go buy a new one, guess what? All that interest is up front. You're depreciating again. It's like no value. So yeah, you
Yeah.
might want to think about holding on to that car that you've taken the time to pay 5 and 6 years off. Hold on to it another 5 years. Let get a good 10 years so you can get the return on your investment.
Plus, too, you got to think about it. If you pay off your car, even if you only keep it for another 2 to 3 years, keep putting that money up to the side like you actually have a car.
Car note. Yeah, you're
So
used to
before
paying
you
it.
know it,
Right.
your savings will have grown. Then that'll give you the opportunity to determine whether or not you want to invest in something or you just want that money to sit there. Or, like she said, get a high yield savings account, which has it grows a higher interest rate monthly than a regular savings account.
Yeah.
So it's all the little things that you do that will help you get ahead on your savings and what you want to do for yourself. This is what I think. Tomorrow's not promised, but if God gives me the opportunity to live longer, I want to make sure I can take care of myself. Um, it's okay. Some people want to still be busy and work after they retire. And my thing is, if I have to work after I retire, I want it to be for me.
That's
If I'm
right.
gonna get up at the crack of dawn, I want it to be for me. What am I doing to improve my life or to take care of myself? Um, there's nothing wrong with entrepreneurship, but you have
You
to have
work
that
hard
funding coming in. But we get up
for the
early in the
man
morning for
every day.
somebody else to do the work at their building and make them money.
Right.
Why not do it for ourselves?
And there's a saying. What is your saying about what did you do for yourself?
Yeah. So every morning you should wake up telling yourself, what am I going to do for myself today? And at the end of the day, what did I actually do for myself?
Yeah.
What did I do to help me? Because at the end of the day, it's you taking care of you. Like I said, you may have a spouse, but if your spouse or your partner passes before you or that
Happens all the
relationship ends, you always want to be in a position that you can take care of yourself. And the way that the economy is going right now, the whole focus is just having money available. Like she was saying, 3 to 6 months worth of your bills if
time.
something were to
Unexpected.
occur.
Yeah. Like I said, it may not be that you're out of a job, but it may be that your roof is caved in. So
Hmm.
what do you do? What do you have? That
Right.
and it's not so much of a devastation. So
Yeah, you definitely want to do that. And so, like for us, we've come into digital marketing. We're doing the ebook and finance since we both work in finance. We're starting to see what the direction that the economy is going, and
plan B.
trying to come up what is going to sustain us if the job says, okay, we good. Thank you for your services, and keep it pushing. What are we going to do for us? And that's there's nothing wrong with having a second income in digital
Second or
marketing.
third or fourth of
Yeah,
it. I mean, various streams. If you can do that, it's just going to be better for you.
yeah. And on our platform as well, we have a free guide that basically gives ideas of different realms of digital marketing that you can get into, digital products that you can sell. A lot of times we think,
Thank you
oh,
for sharing
somebody is
that.
already doing that. But the thing is, nobody has your creativity. Nobody has the thoughts that you have. You might have something that you think somebody already thought of that, whether it's that artwork, that book, whether you're dealing with anxiety. Your perspective of anxiety and writing an ebook is not going to be everybody else's. How to deal with stress, um, uh, children that with autism, being a single mom, anything that you have done something in your life that you are considered an expert at, because
Absolutely.
nobody has the same exact experience,
Nope.
and we all have gifts. It's just the point of focusing on it and figuring out what it is that we actually bring to the table for ourselves, not for someone else. You can always be great at work and get a certificate that says, you're employee of the month,
And you can always get
and
tapped
get
on the shoulder and say, your work here is done.
right. You can get a bonus, but that bonus is going to be it's going to be taxed 35%. But if you're going to be taxed, why can't it be the money that you're bringing in for yourself? So tap into some of the things that you're good at. Everybody is good at something, and nobody has the same life experience as you. I don't even care if you're a twin. You don't have the same life experience. You don't have the same thought process of how to get through things. And as an adult, we all have been through something that our experience can help somebody else get through their experience.
And it's about, we have something. What were the biggest financial challenges and how did you recover?
Um, my biggest financial challenge is I'm I'm actually civil service. I've barely been there a year. My job prior to that, I got laid off. I was laid off for a whole year. By the grace of God, I did have a savings and I had the money to sustain me, as well as my husband helped me as well. That's his job. Um, however, it it put me, now I feel like I'm behind because I had to use some of my savings to get through some of the things I was going through. A whole year with no job, unemployment is, probably half of what you make in a month, maybe, and still trying to live like there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You're applying for
Jobs, you
three,
don't know
four,
when it's
five.
coming.
Basically, you unemployed, and your job is to get up and apply for jobs pretty much all day. So, I mean, you're trying to find what's going to sustain you. You still want to get something that's around what you were making. Um, Feeling stressed that maybe I should just take anything, which was lower than what I was making. So it was just the fact that I had some money saved in my savings as well as in my safe. That's the one time that I could say I turned to my safe
Good for you. And
and
you had it,
had to
and it
use
wasn't
money.
a
Yeah.
devastation.
And
That's
so
the whole
that
point.
kind of helped me continue my lifestyle until I actually had a job.
Okay. So my biggest challenge, I moved to San Antonio a couple through 2, 3 years ago. I brought my mother with me because I'm a caregiver. And we built a house here, and this is home now. And I had to upgrade my car because she couldn't get into the Jeep that I had. So I had some big things happen all at the same time. Well, during that time, just this past summer, Social Security for my mother decided to shut off. And so her bills then needed to be paid. So I was paying my bills and her bills for about 3 months. And that was a scary time, especially when you are taking care of someone else. And so like Neosha, it was a good thing that I had some savings put up for those rainy days because it was a scary time, and you have a mortgage that as high as my mortgage is and you miss a payment, it's hard to recover a second month or a third month and then still think you're going to have a home. So, prayerfully, it was a tough time, but we got through it. And that's the next, going into the next thing. And I hope I answered your question. They love G. But going into the next thing of changing your mindset. It's an uncomfortable thing when I talked about, just having cash just to pay for things versus the security of swiping that card, because I may or may not have had enough. Like if I was swiping my card, I knew I had it. But if I was just going into my wallet for whatever I'm trying to purchase, I may not have had enough. And it was just an uncomfortable feeling, like having to understand before I went in the store how much I had. Well, I never thought to do that before, because I knew whatever I needed, I was going to be able to swipe my card. When I was doing the cash challenge, I was down a lot to $20 and $25, and I might not have had what I would normally have. So it is changing your mindset on how you view money and how you're viewing spending of the money. It's not for you to adjust to, getting more. It's for you to tighten your belt and to really take note of what you can live with and what you can live without.
And that doesn't mean don't do anything. It just means being self aware of, okay, do I really need to do that this weekend? Let me hold off, maybe, save a little bit more money. And like Portia was speaking to with her mom's Social Security, the age that we are, by the time we get to Social Security, we don't know if it's going to be there.
Who knows?
So, in the way that they trying to shut it down, who knows? We don't know if Social Security is going to be there. So, what is your next measure of what you're going to do? You need something other than just your retirement from your job.
Yeah, it's a good time to pivot. Not pivot where you're changing exactly what you're doing, but pivoting in the sense where you're finding additional ways to make money, whether that is digital products, whether that is, door dashing, whether that is, and you might need one or two or three hustles, maybe something where you can just go, do something within your house and you're a crafter, or you're good at this and you're good at that. Tap into those skills that you didn't think meant anything to anybody but you, but it does mean things to other people. You just have to put it out there. You just have to believe in yourself enough to know that you can make money doing that thing. I'm telling you, I'm sure it's a million people in some industry that is making $1 million on it.
Right.
So trusting yourself and trusting your skills, that you have the skill set to find another way to earn money, because I'm telling you, Social Security may or may not be there. Like, and that's the mindset that you have to go into this. Like, I can rely on me. I may not can rely on you, but I got me.
Right. And you definitely do have a skill. Like I said previously, yeah, we might think that we don't, or, oh, somebody else is doing that. It might not be somebody in your area doing it. They might not pick it up and do it as well as you.
Right.
So
or you can teach on it.
Yeah.
Write an ebook. Tell it, give an instruction. People are charging 99 cents, $1.50, $10, $12, all kinds of money. And you would be surprised at the things that people buy. We're not talking about United States anymore. We're talking about worldwide. Anybody could buy something in Asia for that skill that
and
are deeming
definitely
important.
go get our list of different digital products that you can get into. It's on our website for
Free.
free. And just kind of get ideas out there. People are into their pets. People are into kids. People are into cars. So one of the things I have on there is creating a digital calendar for people. Some people are into old school cars. If that's something you're into, you can create a calendar on that. Pets, people love their dogs. People love their cats. That's something you can do. It's a list. I think it has over 150 different digital products that you can get into, and just try your look at it, because this is the thing. Once you create it once, because it's digital, you don't have to create it again. It's there. People can grab it and use it, and you're done. I mean, you've created that income for yourself, and you can create multiple things. It doesn't have to be just one thing. And like she said, you can create a course, you can create an ebook. You might have a skill doing something that other people don't have a skill at doing, that you can create an instruction on, or you can do like we're doing a live on an instruction, or a YouTube on doing different things. It's just all about preparing yourself to take care of yourself.
Jason Biggs, thanks for joining the live. Make sure you're liking, following, and sharing as we close this down. We're trying to get on here as a routine Tuesdays and Thursdays evenings around this time. We'll try to send something out and say, hey, we're about to go live in the next 30 minutes. So be sure to jump on here. Next Tuesday, we'll be talking about chapter 3 of our book. It's Never Too Late, Smart Money Moves for a Secure Future. We have our link in the bio or in the comments, I'm sorry. And chapter 3 is tackling debt. We'll start talking about those credit cards and all the other debt and how to start getting those, paid off and paid down.
Right. And also, too, if you take the opportunity, like we said previously, we have in there that people can look at the last 30 days of their spending and see what their habits are. See how much you're overspending and take a look at it. And if you learn something about yourself and you get on the next slide, let us know what you found out.
Yeah.
So that we can see, people like to know that other people are trying to do something and they're not the only ones that's going through something.
We're together.
And,
we're figuring it out together. We're in our 50s and we're going to have an awesome retirement. That's the goal. Yes. So, and we'll have that demo ready for you, They Love G, and we'll try to get that demo together. So we'll have something to present on Tuesday on how to use our simple budgeting tool.
And with that, we wrap up tonight. Hopefully, you learned something or found out something so that, we can all move forward and grow our lives as individuals as well as with our families. And we don't have to all work until we about 70 plus.
We're not doing
that.
That
Is not none
We're
of
not
our
reading at Walmart.
so, have a good evening.
Bye.
Take care.